Hello everyone and welcome to the Selenium with Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we will learn to automate the dropdowns in a detail with the real-time examples. So let's begin. Dropdown functionality is very much common these days in the website. So for this particular tutorial, I will be taking an example of Internet Heroku app. So here you need to go down here and here you will find a dropdown. Just click on this one and here you see that this is a dropdown. And if you click on this one, you have different options available, and from these options you can select only one option. Either you can select this one or this one. Now what we need to do is that we need to automate this functionality. Okay, so for this let me go to the PyCharm here and let me create one new file here, and I'm naming it as Dropdown1. And the first thing is that we need a driver, right? So simply driver is equals to WebDriver dot I'll go with the Firefox, this one, Firefox, and then I need to maximize the window using this driver. Okay, and here you see that we are getting some error here if I hover on this one. So it says that import. So just click on this one, and here you see that we are getting all the information regarding the different drivers available. So we are using the Firefox, so I will click on this Firefox, or simply I can import the WebDriver here. Okay, and now the issue is resolved, and using this driver, now I will maximize the window first. Okay, so driver dot maximize window. Okay, and now the first thing is that when your browser is maximized, we need to open a URL of the application. And the good practice is that you should create a variable and save the URL into that particular variable. So I'm creating a variable which is login_URL. And here I will having this particular URL. So let me go to the browser here. So this is a URL, and let me copy this one, and let me go back to the PyCharm here and provide this URL. Now instead of providing the complete URL, in the driver.get method I will provide this particular variable. So driver dot get, and inside this I will provide the URL, and the URL is inside this particular variable. Okay, now this particular code will open this Internet Heroku app / dropdown, and it will maximize the Firefox browser as well. Okay, now in order to interact with the dropdown, we need to create an object of a select class. So select class is available in order to interact with the dropdowns. So for that, select is equals to, with the capital S, select, and here we need to provide the element, okay, the dropdown element. So this means that before that, if I go here, you see that import this one. So we need to import this one, right? So select support.select, okay, this one. Now this particular function needs a dropdown value. Okay, so this needs a locator of the dropdown. So for that, what I will do is that I will create one variable which is known as dropdown. I will say it element, and the way is that driver dot find element, I will say by dot id, and I need to provide the id if there is an id available. Okay, as we will go with any other option. So we need to import the by here as well, and if I go here and right click on this one, go to the inspect here, and here you see that ID is available, which is drop down. So I will go with the ID simply and provide the ID here. And now I need to provide this element to this select object. Okay. Now, when we are using the select, we have three different ways to select a value from the dropdown. The first one is by the visible text, other is by index, third is by the value. Okay, so let me put some some comments here, and instead of this one, let me just comment here. So there are three ways. Select the value by visible text. This is something which we can do. Then we have select the value by index, and the third thing is that we can select the option by using a value itself. And if I go here and if I use this select dot, so you will see that I'm getting these three different functions here, or the methods: select by index, select by value, select by the visible text. So first go with the visible text here, and if I go here and if I need to select this option 2 here from here, so the visible text is option 2, right? 2. So let me copy this one and let me go here, and here we need to provide this value. Okay, and that's how we can use this particular function. Now let's run this one and see what happens. So it should open the Firefox browser, it should maximize the browser, then it will open this Internet Heroku app. Then you see that option 2 got selected successfully. Now let's use another method here, which is by the index. So I'm commenting this line here. Instead of this, I will say select by index. So index are basically starting from the 0. Okay, so if I go here, so the first value will be on the index 0, then 1 and 2. That's how indexing works. So if I see here, this please select is also a value here somehow. Okay, so on index 0, this is please select an option, then index 1 and then index 2. Okay, so go here and simply provide the index here. So let's see 0, 1. So if I provided the 1, and let's see which value it will be selected, but the indexing is starting from 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm not sure here either it will consider this please select an option or not. Either ideally should not, and based on 0 and 1 it should select option 2. Okay, let's run this one and see what happens. But that's how actually we can work with the select by index. Okay, so again it will open the website, and now you see that option 1 got selected. And if I need to go with 2 here and run this one here, this time it will select the option 2 here. So let's run this one again and see, because it is considering this particular placeholder text as well, this please select an option as well. Okay, so that's why. Now we have learned this one as well, and the third one is basically select by the value attribute. Okay, so simply select, then select by value, and we need to provide the value here. Okay, and value needs to be provided into the string format. And if I go here and see, here you will see that value equals to 1 and real equals to 2. Copy this one from here and we need to provide this one here. Okay, and now run this one and see what happens. So this should select the drop down based on the value of the attribute. Okay, now it successfully selected the option 2 here. So this is how in the basic terms you can interact with the drop down, select the value based on 3 different functions or the methods available, which is select by value, select by index, and select by the visible text. Okay, now this was a very basic thing here. Let's move a bit ahead of it. And now the second thing is that when we're talking about the test cases itself, your first test case can be like, you want to, verify the count of the drop-down values. Okay, so for example, if you go here and you want to ensure the count of these drop-down values, for example, as per your test case, these should be 3 values or 2 values. Okay, and you need to verify. So for that we need to count these values and then verify. Okay, so now what I'll do is that instead of using this one, so let me put a comment here as well. And now the thing is that when we have this select and we have this drop down element here, so based on this one we can count the values. So what I will say is that I will create a variable option underscore count and using length. Okay, and here select dot options. So basically this will give a length of select options and save it in this particular option underscore count. Okay, and let me remove these lines of code. Now for example, right now we are not using any framework like PyTest or something, unit test or something. So we will be setting this value manually. Manually means that we will be using if else here. Okay, as of now. So we are creating one variable and we are saying that the expected count is equals to 5. So this is we are expecting. And now what I will do is that I will use if here, if option underscore count is equals to expected count. If this is true, then print. Now print, we say that, for example, test case passed, count is correct. Okay, if this is true. Else I'm printing here, but in future we will be using the proper assertions here. Okay, else test case failed and test case failed, count is incorrect. Okay, that's it. Now let's run this one and see what happens here. You should open the browser. This time we are not selecting any value. We are getting a count and verifying the count of drop-down options. Okay, so here test case failed, count is incorrect. Okay, so apparently I believe the count is 3. So now let me save this one and just from here, and now let's run this one again and see what happens. So because it is considering this please selected option as well, and let me go here. Yes, this time test case passed, count is correct. So that's how you can count the values of the drop down and assert. We will learn the assertions in our upcoming session, but as of now I'm just using if else to show you how you can actually verify the count. Okay, now the third thing is that I need to, I need to find, for example, if this dropdown contains option 2, right? If this value is there in the dropdown, then select this value, else don't select. Okay, so my test case is that my script should go, and if my script will find option 2, then only it should be selected, else it should not be selected. Okay, so what I'll do is that simply, so let me remove these lines of code from here. Okay, now what I'll do is that I will say target, I'm creating a variable here, target underscore value, and the target value is basically option 2. Okay, and now there can be a multiple values, 1, 2, 10, 100. So in order to go through these values, we need to loop these values. So for option in dropdown dot options, okay, and dropdown underscore element dot options, and inside the loop I will say if option dot text is equal to target underscore value. Okay, if this happens, then option dot, we have a method click, then option dot click. Simply click on, if it matches, then click on this one. Okay, and for sake of this, I will print, and print here is that selected option is, so I will pass the target value here, and if it will find this particular value, obviously it will select this option. So I will break so that it should come out of the loop. For example, when loop started and loop identified or find the value in the 10th iteration, okay, and there are total 100 values, so I don't want to execute my loop for the 100 times. As soon as I will find the value, I will break the loop. Okay, so this is why I'm using a break here. Now else, if this is not the case, okay, so I will say print, and I will say option, this is the target value, okay, target value not, okay, that's it. Now let me run this one and see what happens here. So you should open the browser, go to the website, it should select the option 2, but it is not working. It says web element as attribute. Okay, dropdown dot elements dot options. So instead of using it directly, what we need to do is that we need to use, because the web element object has no attribute options. Okay, so just like my previous example, what I need to do is that simply I will say select is equals to select, and inside this I need to pass the value here, and instead of dropdown underscore element I will say select dot options and save this one and run this one now. Now this error should be fixed and it should be working fine as per expectations, and it should select the option 2. Yes, option 2 is selected successfully and our code got executed, right? You see, option 2 is found, option 2 is found, select option 2. So we are printing these values. Okay, now if I say 3 and option 3 is not available, so what happens? Okay, so it should go to this else body, and it should say that it doesn't found this option. Okay, and it should not be being selected here. Okay, so option 3 not found. Okay, this means that our code is working fine. So we have learned 3 things today. First one is that we learned, so let me summarize this thing here. So first thing is that how to interact with Dropdown, then how to use select class, then we learned that how to use 3 different methods, and these methods are select by visible text, then we learned that select by value, and third thing is that select by index. Then also we learned that how to count the values, and also what we learned is that if loop the drop down value, and if the desired value found, select that value. So we have covered all these in our today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you like our content, then do like, comment, share and subscribe our channel. Once again, thank you so much and see you in the next tutorial.